we will get started with the keynote in some time. Probably I'll skip the opening session and then give more time and a more interesting time from Sandeep. Can we go to Sandeep's slide? Yeah. Before that, thank you for all our sponsors, right? Without them, I don't think, this is even possible, remotely even possible, right? With sponsors, AWS, Tembo, PG Edge, DBTune, Health Catalyst. Health Catalyst being one of the, I would say, the odd man out. Even though they are not yet on Postgres, they would like to be on Postgres. They would like to look at Postgres as one of their database stuff, right? And last but not least, the Open Source DB, who's one of the partners of Postgres Hyderabad group. All right, so this is Sandeep, who's our keynote speaker. Sandeep comes in with almost like 28 years of experience, right? I don't know when Sandeep started his software journey, 96 maybe, if my maths is correct, right? One of the open source champions, I would say, right? We are proud of to be from India, right? And then, he doesn't need any introduction, but, he will give his own introduction in a while he's doing the next keynote. And then this is one general information I want all of you to be aware of. So we will be doing our lunch in the first floor cafeteria, right? And we have an evening reception. All the details are available with your kids with your tote bags, the schedule. If you have any issues reaching to the venue or with anything, as a matter of fact, right? Just reach out to us, right? Myself or some of the organizers and the volunteers here. And again, the whole merchandise that we have got is from a company called Chuck Desi. That's from Women Entrepreneur Development Organization. So we work with a couple of non-profit women entrepreneur groups. One is this VIDO, and then another one is Postgres Women India. Both of these groups closely work with us, work with our group, and then we help them achieve some of their ideas and thoughts in the Postgres women ecosystem. This is the one, and yeah, if you'd like to get connected with us, we are on LinkedIn, not such actively posting on Twitter, but on LinkedIn, you could reach out to us. Thank you all for being here. And then, Sandeep, you can. Yeah, and there is a spot for lightning talks in the evening, somewhere around 4-ish, 4:30. There is an enrollment form available with the registration, right? If you'd like to talk for 5 minutes, about Postgres, about you want to talk anything about databases, feel free to enroll yourself for the lightning talk. That would happen for around half an hour, 45 minutes. So everyone will get a 5 minutes slot, and we can look at it. Right? Over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Hari. Good morning, everyone. And it's such a pleasure, to be always a part of community initiatives. So this actually takes me back, when we started LUG group, Linux user group. And I was personally instrumental in setting up Red Hat in early days of 2000. So we were some 6 to 8 member teams in 2001 when we started Red Hat, probably 10 by 10 room in India, in Mumbai. And prior to that, I was with school Unix and working a lot on Linux kernel part as well. And congratulations for, I think, first PG Day chapter in Hyderabad, right? So hearty congratulations, and I can see that this will be growing more and more. So there are a lot of sessions which will be happening today on Postgres. A lot of you will be talking in internal details, development, and capabilities of Postgres. What I thought I would be sharing with you, how we are trying to use Postgres in our journey while we are building AI/ML platform. and how we are seeing that Postgres is going beyond database now. It is actually becoming a compelling part of, a lot of key initiatives which is transforming the enterprise landscape. And if I see the way we are getting into new technologies, we are actually at a crossroad where two innovations are happening and picking up with quite a bit pace and momentum. At one side, it's an AI and data science space, which is evolving too fast. And it's like gaining so much of momentum. And believe me, AI and data science is not about trend or glamour. It is about the requirement, because more and more data, more and more insights has to be coming to the enterprises with that. No? Okay. So that is where a lot of innovation is happening. You might be hearing about, in how the way innovations are happening in GenAI space, the way innovations are happening in AI ML space. But trust me, there is yet to be production environment to be realized. So much is happening, but very few enterprises are actually in production with AI ML. Okay, and you can pick up the Gartner report. It will also tell you that 80 to 85% organizations are yet to go in production, and those who go in production, they actually take 7 to 9 months, and real game starts after production. Second part of that crossroad, what I see personally is open source, and this open source journey, the momentum what we saw in 2000. It's every year, every moment it is picking up. And can someone tell me the reason why open source momentum is picking up? It started with Linux, but now it is picking up in every dimension. Anything comes to your mind that why it is picking up? There are no technologies which are inferior and superior. All technologies are very well built. It's only the right fit what you need to identify. But why open source is continuously picking up that kind of momentum in every space, whether digital transformation, whether fintechs, now whether AI, ML, data science. Any view, any one of that, yeah. Rate of innovation. Cost. Pardon? Cloud migration, okay? So there is no one right answer, but there is a beautiful thing if you'll see at the soul of open source is that it actually accelerates your innovation. So it's not that the innovation is happening in open source. Innovation is happening in every space. But open source philosophy actually accelerates that innovation and helps you to take it to a different level because of the philosophy, like, community is working on top of that. So cost is one of the factors, definitely. But today, the enterprises are looking at, the way they can innovate through open source. Take an example, even in AI ML space, if you see in GenAI space, all LLMs which has been built, they have leveraged absolutely open source technologies. And the moment they have built, they have come to that level because of the collaborative nature of building that. Today, even if you see, you might be using ChatGPT, right? You think that you are entering your, questions into the ChatGPT window. But at the back end, it's an entire platform. You can't isolate that from a platform. At the back end, there is a huge platform which is running. You have built LLMs and transformers which are continuously getting trained. So a lot of innovation is happening in open source, around open source, and through open source. And that is where we started seeing this in the technology space also, and I have personally worked in that. So when we were working on Linux, that was the only open source in those days. Then I worked for Postgres to create the mindshare of Postgres in Southeast Asia for almost 7 years. That was from 2014 to 2020. And we were seeing that it was not at all making inroads into the enterprise's mission critical deployment. But today you see that everywhere Postgres is there in some or other way in mission critical deployments. Nginx, everywhere you will see Nginx. Then I was working for Kubernetes entire community, and we built Kubernetes mindshare. you can see how it is working. So technologies will be there, but because of that open source philosophy, you can see that it is absolutely gaining the momentum and reaching to the enterprises. And very beautiful thing, I would say that, when do you see any enterprise adopts open source? There are millions of forks which are going on. There are millions of streams where we do the development in open source. When you see that enterprise customers start identifying a particular technology to adopt that from open source, that is when the community becomes strong. Like in any closed or proprietary technology, enterprises customer will always look at the roadmap of that technology after adopting. Same way in open source, they always look at the community strength. And that is where I feel so humbly proud that Postgres community has grown such a strength to strength every year since 2012 I am seeing. So I think so today Postgres community has grown to an extent that, it's a very sustainable development which is happening in that community. Okay, so why Postgres now? Because this is a PG day and we have to make relevance with our Postgres. But I will not talk about Postgres here just because I have worked or we all are working on Postgres. I will try to share that, why we personally see that this is becoming a compelling part of the stack of AI ML data science. By the way, I'm founder CEO of Data Science Wizards. We are an AI and data science startup now. We have been recognized as top 10 AI startup in Europe. We have also recognized in India in the competing quadrant with AIM. So we have built an AI ML platform called as Unify AI. And this entire platform we have built through open source stack. So why we started doing this, there was a cause. It was not just because we know about data science and we had those skill set. But in 2020, somewhere around, October, November, me and my founding partner, Pritesh, we got an opportunity to work for one of the very reputed insurance company in India. That point of time, Data Science Wizards, DSW, was not existing. And we got an opportunity to build AIML use case, AI use case for insurance company, and that use case was very prominent use case, persistency use case, which is very important for any insurance company to see whether their policy holder would be persisting for 30, 60, so on and so forth. And we thought that we are in a very better situation to make it successful. We have skills, what we thought we had. And we had tools, like a lot of tools, like hyperscaler platform provides you, SageMaker, ML Factory. There are so many tools through which you can actually do your journey. And when we started doing that, we realized firsthand that building this entire cycle of AI use cases is beyond skills, beyond tools, and it needs something more than that, which is like, how you can make this journey predictable, how you can identify the right fit technologies, how you can ensure that there are too many moving parts of technologies in this entire cycle can be highly integrated in terms of there is nothing which will break up when you scale. And that is where we saw that after 5 to 7 months also, our pilot was successful, like Hadoop pilots, what we did in those days. Our pilot was successful, but we were not production ready. We were not having confidence to get into the production because your AI game starts when you actually hit the production. Till that time, it's a fancy world. Till that time, you just seem to be happy that my models are giving inferences and all those stuff. And that is where we realized that this challenge, this space, is an opportunity for us to build something, because we are not aware what thing, something where enterprises will able to go in production with confidence, scale, and predictability. And that's where our journey of DSW started in April 2021, an idea of Unify AI was born. And when we started, And when we started building this entire journey, if you'll see anyone who might have been worked on data science entire journey would relate to this. When we started thinking about this, what happens when you have to build a use case? Suppose early claim use case for insurance company. If you have to build this use case, right-hand side, if you think about the use case, you start your journey from extreme left, where you actually identify the data sources. Once you identify the data sources required for that particular journey, you prepare the data. You build the data pipeline. Then you go through the data science space of like exploratory data analysis. You do the EDA on top of that data. What happens in EDA? In EDA, as a data scientist, I or you, we build actually the statistical modeling of that entire data. We correlate the data. We actually build 100, 150, 200 visual charts where we correlate the data, where we identify the outliers. So it's a huge work which happens in EDA. And if suppose I'm a mediocre data scientist, I would do this exploratory data analysis based on my capability. So the best I can think about statistical modeling, the best I could correlate the data. Once you do the EDA, you also identify the features from your data sources. Those are nothing but the attributes. So you identify the features and you store that features. In those days, there were not much of feature stores. You store the features because once you store the feature, you can reuse the features for new use cases. Then based on your EDA outcome and features, you start writing machine learning algorithm. So people feel that just writing an algorithm is in isolation. No, it's not in isolation. Based on this features and EDA, you start writing ML models, algorithms. And as a data scientist, you end up writing 8 to 10 to 12 models actually, not single model. And based on the evaluation matrix for that particular use case, whether F1 score is needed, whether accuracy is needed, you identify based on all the evaluation metrics, which model should go forward for production readiness testing. And once that model has been identified, that model deployment itself also is a task with all its artifacts. It will also take you at least 3, 4, 5, 6 days if you are an efficient, into that stuff. Once you deploy the model, then your models will start giving you the inferences, but those inferences will be only you will come to know accurate after probably 3 to 6 to 7 months. Because the learning of that inferences has to come back. And based on that, you will come to know whether data drift is happening, whether model drift is happening, and what you need to do. So this is the entire cycle. So once you go in production, it's a regular work. It's not just one-time production. The moment you go in production, it has to be having a complete CI/CD kind of capability wherein continuously in real time this is happening so that business is achieving the best result of the AI/ML capabilities what they are leveraging. And that is where your databases plays an important role in each juncture of this cycle. Right from at the left-hand side, data engineering, where you actually bring the data, you build the data pipelines. Okay? Then when you do the feature engineering, where you identify the feature, you build the feature, you store the features. Then at the MLOps journey, where you actually write the models, store the models in the repository so that you can recall the models again. So database is playing role in this entire journey everywhere. Now, if you'll see when this journey starts, you will not find that every time you will end up with structured data, even for AI/ML. So there has to be unstructured data. And that is where you need to identify right databases. And most of the time when you are working with enterprises, they already have data landscape put together. You need to also see that how you can leverage their existing investments. And thanks to the way Postgres has grown over a period of time, reaching to the AI era, Postgres is everywhere in enterprises. It coexists with other databases, but it is everywhere because it has proven itself in its relational capabilities. It has proven itself in its ACID capabilities. It has also proven itself in its scalability capabilities. Now, what is happening, and this I saw firsthand few years back, when Postgres announced JSON capability in early days. But remember one thing, when any technology includes any capability, that doesn't change the nature of the technology. Postgres is still an RDBMS. It has not become document-based. It has not become key value pair based, right? So even it supports JSON capability, it's still a very strong RDBMS database. So same way with each technology. It will always have its core and it will always have an extension capabilities so that that particular technology can be leveraged to the best. So we should not forget, suppose tomorrow if I have to design a solution where I need a document-based database capability, I'm making a product catalog probably, where the fields might be changing regularly. I can't do it in RDBMS. So I would try to figure out right fit database for me, which would be document-based database, right? So that is how in AI journey also, you need to identify at each stage the right fit technologies which will be there. And database is something which will be always out of the cycle. You can't build it in an AI platform. It will be always outside the AI platform, and you will leverage that. So here, why Postgres? And why we selected Postgres in most of the banking and insurance where our Unify AI platform is running in production. Because of the structured data capabilities which is proven, and secondly, because of the PG vector which has come up now. It has a lot to do in that area with that extension, I agree. But this is changing the game of reusing the database Postgres in that enterprises. And I will talk about why PG vector is actually required and makes sense in your entire AI journey for the enterprises. And this, they have also included with that plugin semantic search. So I will not get into the detail of how you guys have tried that. But definitely there is a lot of room for improvement over there. But this entire space is evolving right now. This is the right time to leverage this and contribute more into these plugins probably. Because these are the things which are going to change the game to look to for the Postgres beyond data store. So I am seeing that Postgres is not just a data source, but Postgres is becoming a compelling component where enterprises can use it, reuse it, leverage it for their AI, ML lifecycle journey, which is not going to come down. The moment you touch anything, data is getting generated. Every organization wants to leverage the data for insights to build their business. I will give you an example. We are working with insurance companies, and I will take example of insurance company for you to understand why AI is going to be like this, not a trend, not a glamour. So for any insurance company, what is the product? Policy. Now, if insurance company A releases a policy, right? With some features and with some riders and all those stuff. Within 3 to 4 months, another insurance company B releases a policy with different name, and they would come out with different name and additional features. So there is a window of 3 to 4 months to lead. So that is where insurance companies are also leveraging AI capabilities to, before announcing the policies, which demography, which distributors, what features. So within 3 months, they can tap the maximum potential. So that is where AI is playing a lot of, again, Postgres ML. This is a plugin, which we are trying. We are trying with our platform where Postgres is integral of our platform. And this is where, again, a lot of work needs to be done by all of us. but I would encourage everyone to look into this and try to see that more and more contributions we can do to this, because this is going to be very much relevant in coming times. So what helps here is that you have an integrated ML capabilities. Internally, you can have models accessing the data which is inside the Postgres. So you don't have to shift the data outside and run through the models. Algorithm supports, I think linear regression and these algorithm supports are already there. So we need to increase more support over there. Data pipelines, you can build now efficient data pipeline. So this is a very different use of Postgres other than what we have always seen traditionally as an RDBMS. So today with this extension, we are making it much more relevant to our ML journey. With this, it becomes part of MLOps complete pipeline for us. PG vector, as I mentioned, I know I'm running out of the time, but this is important. PG vector is, why it is important. Today, somebody has tried doing these embeddings? Wonderful. So, very good. So what is happening and what we are doing, I will share here. So today, the data is normally stored, into any databases and then queried through SQL, or probably, it's queried back for inferencing of the models. But vector embedding is becoming prominent today because, sorry, I think you are shading that. So vector embedding has become very much prominent today because there are models which will convert your input into the vector, which is numeric, and then those embeddings will be stored as a scoring. And that search is supported by your semantic search, which is now very much possible in Postgres. And that really helps you to have very close searches in your using your LLMs or text searches as well. So PG vector we are using very closely in our platform. And for that we are using Postgres. So now you saw that there are 3 ways we are using Postgres. One, Postgres is when we are using at the data engineering side of that entire platform as a database capability. Second, in MLOps. And third is in PG vector, where we are storing data in a vector format so that we can make that search much more efficient. And fourth, the way we are experimenting now with Postgres is to build the RAG capability, retrieval augmented generative. And why we are doing this is, what happens in this I will tell you. In this, you store the data. With Postgres, you can store in the RDBMS structured format as well. With vector embedding, you can store with the vector plugin. So this entire thing becomes our Postgres. Now suppose when the user fires the query, generally what happens? When you fire the query to LLM, you will get a response, but that response may not be a contextual to you. Because LLMs are trained across the data sets. It's not about your context. So you need to make the queries much more contextual to you. So what happens? It needs to be augmented with the grounding data. And that is where we are using Postgres in our platform, Unify AI, where we are using the RAG capability, augmenting with that. So user fires the query. If it is a structured data, it goes through SQL format. It retrieves the data. If it is unstructured, it goes through the vector embedding. It pulls the data. So whether the search is whether structured or unstructured, that grounding data comes to the LLM. And that query with the grounding data augmented with the LLM, you get much more contextual data, not generic response from the LLMs. And that is what enterprise customers are looking at, bringing LLM into their premises and closing the door. So today we are using Llama 3.1 80 billion quantized version with 40 GPUs. So these are the kind of things they are working. We don't have to work for 405 billion of data sets. So that is how LLMs are getting leveraged in enterprises. And Postgres is playing a role. And this is how our platform looks like. And Postgres plays a role everywhere in our platform. So today I'm standing here and speaking to you, not just because I have personally worked on Postgres or you are working, but we are using Postgres and we are trying to see that how much best effectively and relevantly it can be leveraged with AI/ML journey. Future direction, definitely. One thing what we are seeing with our platform Unify AI is also that we are making it so light. Our vision is to make Unify as an operating system of AI. It's going to change the game in the market very soon. We have just been valued at $15 million by PwC, and we have raised the investment, and we are also working with a lot of large organization to embed into GPUs and chips. So our vision is that Unify AI is going to become an operating system of AI where it can get embedded to GPUs and it can get embedded to the chips to go to the edge devices for edge AI. And in all this context, we are trying to see that how Postgres is going to play on top of our platform, making it much more relevant for AI journey. And this is where I would encourage that you guys to see that the time is going to come where we have to bring AI closer to data. You can't keep moving the data closer to AI every time. AI has to go closer to data. And when it has to go closer to data, that data could be Postgres. And how it can go closer to the data is more and more things, the connectivity, the extensions, the plugins, if we can develop with our Postgres, I think we'll make our Postgres much more relevant for times to come beyond data store. Thank you very much.
Any questions, folks?
Any questions?
Yeah, you have.
Any questions? Anyways, I'm around. Yeah, please.
Do you see a possibility? Do you see a importance of having Postgres acquiring feature to leverage GPUs when it getting feature to get process in terms of GPUs?
No. Postgres in terms of leveraging GPUs. Postgres directly in terms of leveraging GPUs, I'm not sure internally how it will happen right now, but the way what is happening over there is that, with GPU infrastructure, you will always have your orchestration layer like run.ai or something where you can do the fractional GPUs. But Postgres to directly leverage GPUs, I think, I'm not sure whether it happens or not. If somebody has done that, directly getting and leveraging the GPUs. But what would happen is, with our AI platform, which what we are building, and anybody would be building and doing innovations over here, when Postgres become integral part of embedded of that platform, that point of time, this platform will be leveraging the GPUs. This platform would get embedded to the GPU. And not necessarily that entire database would get embedded, but their extension should be always there. So the way you see how technology is evolving, I will tell you. You don't embed or bundle the entire technology, even with LLMs. You don't take 405 billion of Llama 3.1, right? You always take quantize 7 billion or 80 billion and make it much more contextual. With technology also, while it is a database, there are plugins which needs to be outside the databases, but connected to the databases. So tomorrow, if AI goes in the chip or GPU, there are plugins which should help to connect with the database, which would be central. So that is where I can see at this point of time. But GPU is more or less, because of the way it helps you to optimize I would say, the performance of LLMs. Over a period of time, you will start learning about LPUs. Because GPUs were built just for graphic. Now LPUs, you will see that those are coming for LLMs. So every day things are changing. But there are few things which will always remain common. So Postgres as a database, I'm not sure how it will be leveraging GPU at this point of time. But inside the AI platforms, it will be able to leverage the GPUs. Thank you. Yeah, please.
Thank you for the talk. And I see a lot of potential for unified AI. The question which I have is, you talked about how you are able to use Postgres as a grounding function for both structured and unstructured.
Yes.
While the query is going to the AI model, the other query is going to the database and coming back. I'm new to the Postgres platform. I'm a product manager at Google RDS, Google Cloud SQL databases.
Perfect.
It will help me understand and others understand better if we replace this Postgres with some other database, what will be the pros and cons of that? Or is it not replaceable that only Postgres provides certain unique capability there?
Okay, good question. So first thing, coming from the open source philosophy, everything is replaceable. And it's collaborative. That is why the first question when I asked why open source is still gaining the momentum and not getting obsolete, because of the way of collaborative way of working. So the day open source technologies would become like, irreplaceable, they will be out of the market because somebody will replace it. So it gives choice. So if I remove this database from here, you can have any other database which would have vector capability. Even Oracle 23.a has announced that. So everything will always come up. Things will come up. Only thing is that if we will not enhance our PG vector plugin to that level, we may miss the timing in the market. So Postgres has given a good, I would say that the way it has come up, it has given a good standing alongside the big players in RDBMS world. But with this plugin, it will also be there. So you can replace. But you can't replace with RDBMS or document-based database. For unstructured data, you need to have vector capability. That's going to make sense right now. So Postgres has PG vector plugin, that's why. Otherwise, Postgres would not have been here. We would have to use something else. But because of RDBMS and PG vector both, it gives you capability of cross-semantic search. So with the structure and unstructured, in the same way you can pull out the grounding data. With the query plus grounding data, you can feed it to the LLM, and with that LLM, you will get more contextual data as you move forward. I hope I was able to answer. Thank you.
Final question. Basic question. For example, if you go to SQL Server, error handling is very, very improvised.
I can't. Which handling? Error.
Yeah.
Huh.
In Postgres, error handling is little bit complicated. It's many times what we do, issue something else, the error chooses something else. So it becomes when we find to performance issue something else, it becomes more complicated. So is there any plans you are implementing in the error handling part?
So I am not working on error handling part in specific Postgres, but I think community people are here who can answer if somebody wants to answer in this forum. If somebody wants to answer in this forum, yeah.
So they decided to chart an outline.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
So in our environment, we are using JSON calls. As you were saying, I'm just wondering if PG vector, it's in any case, let's say I have a database of 500 keys, and it's keep on adding from the fields. So if I have to go on a search from the particular fields of the JSON code, can I use PG vector?
So this PG vector extension is for Postgres. Yeah. So yeah, you can use.
So in that case, how do you suggest me to, have a query? Like I know the querying is JSON call in PostgreSQL, but it becomes easy job for me to get results. Let us say 2 GB or more in the entire 200 gigs of data. So I'm just wondering if I'm going to use PG vector here, how it is.
So, okay, what happens with PG vector? It's not alone PG vector. It's backed up by the semantic search capability at the back end. Okay, so that semantic search actually helps you to find the closest distance, search with cosine. Huh.
If I have to use the semantic search, is there a methodology that I should entire thing is to get the response as fast as I can? So is there a method to implement this using the semantic search?
So you want to enhance that performance of your search, right? Yeah. So there is no a typical method at this point of time that you can enhance the search. There is only a method how you can implement that point of time. But I think you will have to keep working on that to see how you can improve the performance. Yeah, please.
It's all dependent upon the dimension of the vector that you are using. The more dimension it has, the more latency your vector search will be having. So whenever you are converting your data into vector, depending upon the use case, how much clarity you give in your semantic search, if you can reduce your dimension of the vector, obviously the latency will be.
Yeah, that's a good answer. But this is a continuous work. That's what I said. You will have to identify with each use cases that how much you can do for that. So sometime you may hit the bottleneck that beyond that you are not able to improve the performance.
That is why it is required to now, that is why, when you use PG vector, we use PG vector as one of the data type, right? But now I feel we need to have a data modeling techniques within that PG vector so that we can actually fine-tune your use cases for your requirement.
Correct. That's what future-looking slide I have also mentioned. So currently it's very limited. I would say that at start I mentioned that there is a lot of work which needs to be done over here in this plugins, and it's not only about PG vector and semantic search, but it's about the entire process. So how it will actually search the models and inference and through the databases. So a lot of things will go behind that cycle. So I'm not sure up till where you had done the optimization, but yes, beyond certain points, the optimization is, we have also seen that it takes a little bit time, but it's evolving. Yeah. Yeah, please.
Partial related to this event. I'm more interested to know about your data science results. So are you creating results for B2B business?
Yeah, it's B2B. It's B2B. In fact, I have invited as a founder of, some cutting edge startup by AWS in Palo Alto, which is happening in 3. So they have sponsored. So this platform we are evaluating with AWS. So this platform is almost ready and it's in production. So it builds AI ML use cases, GenAI use case in net 3 weeks in production. Yeah, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Special thanks to Sandeep. He flew from Mumbai with his busy schedule, and then he's flying back again at around 11:30. Just came here for delivering the keynote. Sandeep, thank you so much for delivering the keynote. Right?